mi gente. What's up, baby?
Yo,
We're back.
Yo, Jay, you did not sound like me, bro.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
If you were
Kick
trying,
it off.
I think he tried. He said, it's not mi gente, it's que lo que.
You know what? You know what he did? He took his phone and he went to one of our old episodes and he was like, "How Ray starts."
What is it?
Oh,
What are we?
Hello,
supposed to say?
people.
All right, go. Kick
All right,
it off.
fine.
All right, officially.
What?
No, dale pa' allá.
What's good, my peoples?
What's up?
We're back. Today's a special one. All right. We got, one of our hosts who's finally back from vacation. All right. It was like 3 months off. Welcome back, Josh.
No, that's not vacation. That's
Let me do a standing ovation.
what's that called? Paternity. Now we got paternity leave.
Yeah. We gotta have
Just in time
paternity.
for
But I thought it was 3 days.
How's it been, man? How does it feel?
Good. I'm tired, but I'm good, man.
You look a little
Tired.
tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. You look a little tired.
Damn,
we gotta
bro.
talk to the makeup people, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get some makeup people here.
The budget.
When they tell you look tired, they telling you something else, bro.
Exactly.
Play with you, my brother. I'm happy to have you back. So
Good to be
today's a
back.
special one
Good
because
to
we
be
also
back.
have a great
Yes, absolutely.
guest in the house.
Yes, we do.
All right.
All right,
Well,
great.
we're gonna do our roundabouts.
All right, cool. All right, go.
So go ahead. What's your name again?
My name is Jose, but
look
they call
like-
me Ray.
What's up?
Nah,
baby?
yo, thank you for hosting today, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn. I'm interning.
All right.
You're returning.
What's going on, man, guys? So what's up?
And Jelly's back from vacation too. You
¿Qué
know.
vacation y vacation quisiera yo?
All right, introduce our guest. Come on, bro. You
All right,
we
all right,
kept
all
her
right.
waiting.
Yes.
You delayed the
Yes.
start.
No
you
drinks.
know,
Today,
no drinks.
Got a
look,
dry.
I apologize.
episode.
I apologize. Drinks will be on me. All
Thank
right,
you.
Jules. I promise you that. It just took Ray about 38 minutes to get from 2 blocks away to the studio.
I don't
Josh
even-
had
I'm
to
not
check
even
a
gonna
couple
go
of
into
his,
that.
couple of his agents, but we're glad to have you here.
Thank
Yes.
you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for
So-
coming.
I'm super honored to be here. So thank you. And it's been a pleasure
Glad to
meeting
have
you
you.
all.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure so far. This is it.
So far. Well, not you, because
So
you didn't
far.
bring
Oh,
drinks.
okay.
You just brought it.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we'll have to work on it.
We'll work on it. We'll work on
He
it.
brings
that.
drinks for himself, this guy.
Yes.
Yep.
You're suselfish, bro.
Well, you guys are on this dry November / October / I don't know when you guys are gonna drink again, but
Till June. God forbid.
But all right, come on. All right, so Jules, introduce yourself because we're
Yes.
doing a very poor job of introducing you. So
Thanks
So-
to Jay.
thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Jay, who was supposed to take the lead?
Come on.
Right?
I said it was gonna last like 10 seconds. I gave it 30.
I don't even think you
All
made
right,
it 10
so
seconds.
Jules, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks
So-
again. So my name is Jules Mella. I am of Dominican descent. I was born and raised in New York City. Let's see, what else can I say?
What part of New York
I'm
City were you born in?
In Corona, Queens.
Ooh, that's my hood.
11368.
Yes.
Oh, so I was
Exactly.
102 and 37.
137.
Oh, the dead end.
I was on the avenue. I was on 37th
Oh,
Avenue.
you were on 37. All right.
Yes.
That's a very different place now, though.
Very different.
Yeah. Okay.
Very little
Oh,
Dominicans
so
left.
we know a lot of the same people.
But I'm much older than you are, so
I mean,
I'm
Look,
sure.
look.
no, I don't think so.
Well, now-
He's up there.
I'm
He's up there.
Now you want to say you're old.
Well, yeah, usually I'm fighting the other way around, like these
Yes,
guys.
you are.
Yeah, I'm only 28.
I'm 23. It's barely legal, bro. All right, so Corona, how was that? So Corona schools or?
Yes, I went to PS19,
Okay.
Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic School. And
So
I was
we
probably
definitely
kicked
know some of
out.
the same people.
Probably had the same teachers and
Yeah,
stuff.
Newtown High School.
Newtown High School. Also OLS, PS19.
19.
There's
Okay.
okay. in Queens?
Of course, 104 and 37.
7th
Bro.
Avenue, right? Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Our Lady of Sorrow, Newtown High School.
Yes, Queens College. Then I
Okay.
dropped out. Which-
But-
I'm here.
Here
But-
we are. Here we are.
We're
But
here
here we are.
interviewing
Exactly.
you
Thank
for your
you.
entrepreneurial spirit,
Thank
right?
you.
That we've heard so much about.
Yes.
So all right, so that's what we want to focus on today. We're going to talk about a couple things. Number one, they were telling us our show had too many male guests.
Male
and-
heavy.
Yeah.
You're a male
you know, they were like, "Yo, there's no estrogen," like what's going on? And then we're like, "All right, so we gotta get a good
We need some female voice.
right. We need a really good female voice." So Jonathan spoke to your friend Vivian,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Viviana.
Viviana, sorry, and she said, "Oh no, I have the perfect person for you," right?
Aw, that's
So
nice.
Jules, and then Jay has been sending like text messages on our group like, oh my God, look, she does this, she does that. And we're like, oh man, we're like super excited.
Well,
So,
I mean, you tasked me with the
so-
job. So
I
I'm trying to get
understand,
my
but
job
I'm
done.
But I'm just saying,
Job
you know,
well done.
but I'm just saying, like, we're very excited, you know, that you decided to come because there's a few interesting questions that I think we all have individually. But let's start with what you, and then you brought it up. So you dropped out of Queens College.
Yes.
What was the beginning of your entrepreneurial,
Or her trajectory.
oh, right,
Yeah.
in your entrepreneurial world? How'd you start?
I think I've always, as a child, been money driven.
Okay.
That could be a plus or a minus for some people. And I felt that I needed to go to work. I didn't want to stay in school. I wasn't making money in school. I had this hustle mentality and I wanted to get out there and just start making money. And at that age, you think, oh my gosh, I'm making $300 a week. This is great. But because you're not paying any bills, you're living with mom and dad. So you're great. And so part of me feels like I should have stayed in school because there's so many benefits to you're having a degree. However, because I didn't get my degree, I hustled harder. And that was what catapulted me to do much more and have a desire for more. I'm still very money driven because I felt like, you know, people say money doesn't buy happiness, but it makes the world go round. And so I do realize now money doesn't bring you full happiness. However, it brings you lots of comfort and you're able to make others really happy with being able to
Let's
pay
stop
it
there a little bit
forward.
because you're using the term money driven, and a lot of people see that as negative, right?
They
Like,
do.
'cause- and I know you maybe subconsciously try to defend it, like, oh, I know people say this, you know, but I'm always, I mean, and I agree with your train of thought, but talk about how being money driven is talking about it in a positive light as opposed to a negative light.
Well, I think there's two folds to this because, and I've seen it now as I got older, that being money driven isn't always the best. And so, you know, I kind of want to, if I fast forward, now I have retired, say, from corporate America and just decided to take off my remove the employee mentality and focus on my CEO mentality. Because of that, you know, now you're not relying on this paycheck that you were getting every 2 weeks and making you so happy. So then I started to realize like I wasn't doing anything as an entrepreneur if it wasn't making me money. So even if I wanted to grow my business, I would say, oh, I'm not going to do this, even though I knew I had to take steps A, B, and C to make more money. But A, B, and C wasn't making me money.
Correct.
But doing something else, let's say helping someone else out that was offering me a paycheck was what I was going in that direction. That's where it's a negative. Now I have to focus on the work that needs to be done in order for me to generate more revenue, as opposed to just looking for that paycheck. And that's where it has been a challenge for me, why I hired a business coach to remove that employee mentality and focus on the CEO mentality. You've got to do the work to generate the revenue. You can't just go and look for a paycheck. And I kept on still till today was still looking for a paycheck, but now I acknowledge the difference in the two. And so in doing so, now I am focusing more on the work I need to do to generate more revenue and not just chase the revenue. In the work is where you learn who you really are, what your business really needs, and what your employees need. Because I'm no longer just focusing on the bottom dollar.
Excellent.
So, and I think when you say you're not chasing the money, right? Like it's still your end goal. You want to be successful,
Absolutely.
right? Your success equals to making money, but not getting the fast dollar right away, right? Building the foundation, having a vision. What's the long-term goal? And then maybe it's not going to give me money now. Maybe I'm going to lose money because I'm investing money first, right?
Yes.
But I know that setting up this foundation. I think one of you guys is going to be replaced because she pretty much encompassed the soul of this show, right? Which is what we always talk about. But Jay, go ahead. I know
So, Jules, I know that during our conversations over the phone, you mentioned quite a few interesting things that were highlighted to me. It's how important it was for you to get the relationship that you had with one of your mentors, your boss, right? Which was actually give you the ability to open up the opportunity to start your first business.
Yes.
Would you be able to elaborate a little bit into
Yes.
what kind of business is that and how do you just
So
give up the idea?
I've always worked with amazing, employers that were just extremely kind and very insightful and always wanted me to learn more. I think they saw that there was something in me that wanted more. They said, two very important things. You cannot rely on just one income. We have known this for many years. Can't rely on one income. And two, the American dream is to own a home and become an entrepreneur. And so to me, although I consider myself a Latina, Hispanic, and very proud to be of Dominican descent. It was still my parents' American dream for us was to have a business, have our own home, and grow, as an individual. And so when I realized he's absolutely right, I should not rely on just one income because I can easily be replaced. I decided to become an entrepreneur. I won't lie, it came easy to me. It came to me in a dream. This is what you should be doing. And I'm very faith-based. I am a true believer in God. And in my dream, I felt that it was God telling me this is what I was supposed to do. Doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me. Okay. I went into a business that I have very, very little knowledge of, but I knew I wanted to go into the beauty industry. And although I had very little knowledge of it, I had already owned a business, which actually had to shut down because of a recession during the crash of 2008. But I had learned so much then, and from all my mistakes then, I now decided, now I know how to do this, better.
Was that your first? Was that your first time during like taking the shot at entrepreneurship, like your first business prior to the 2008 recession?
Yes, I opened a small restaurant in Forest Hills with my business partner, and again,
what was it called?
It was called Chic and Green.
Okay.
And so we had zero knowledge of the restaurant industry.
That's a tough industry.
But we're very, I consider myself very fearless. I dive headfirst. I'm my mom's middle child. I'm her black sheep. I'm that one that she's always had to chase. And so I was diving headfirst into everything. And so I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? We fail. You learn from failure. And so you really don't lose. And so we went into this. We were doing extremely well. Boom, the recession, the crash of 2008 happened. Now we're in a recession. People are suicidal. No one really wants to eat healthy foods. We closed down. Fast forward to 2014. Now I'm still in corporate America. While I was an entrepreneur, I never left my job because remember, I was chasing that paycheck, not chasing a dream.
Okay.
And so now I open up my second business. I decide February 2014, I want to open up a beauty studio. I was living in Dallas, and my friend said, I reached out to my friend. She was doing my hair. I was like, hey, why don't we do this? And she's like, let's do it. I'm like, you don't want to talk to your husband? She's like, no, let's do it.
Nice.
Again,
That's
we
how you
dive
do it.
head first.
Yeah.
We open.
And you do it in Dallas?
No, I leave Dallas. This is now the boss that tells me, Jules, you should become an entrepreneur. Don't rely on one income. You should try to get an extra hustle. Well, when I said to him, I'm listening to what you're saying, I'm going to leave Dallas now.
that kind of backfired.
Yeah, what?
Like, that's not what I
wasn't
meant.
literal about
because,
it.
I had a very generous boss then, and he's, paid me for a year.
Wow.
While I completed. I said, I decided to do this. And so I opened my business. I decided to do this March 1st. I was back in New York, June. I opened my business August 1st, almost made $1 million the first year.
Wow.
And that's in the beauty industry?
I was in the beauty.
Guys, so there's a hair.
We gotta get into
I didn't realize
beauty.
Time out. We're gonna stop. You said the M word. All right, so we're gonna pause a little bit. All right. So you're in Dallas. You have a boss who's motivating you, right? Like who's telling you the right things. Not a boss who's trying to like keep you, with a ceiling, right?
Yes.
This person's telling you, hey,
That mentor right there.
you had right, right? Because our last episode was mentor, mentee, coachee, right? So that kind of fits in. So you have a boss who's motivating you, right? Who's giving you that courage in a sense. You have it from when you were growing up. You say, you were chasing the money. It sounds like you have a little bit of a swag. Like, I was the one being chased by my mom. I'm the one that wasn't listening. Maybe the hookie parties at Newtown were crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So that's going on.
Not denying any of that.
So now I'm listening to someone who's fearless, who's somebody not afraid to lose, right? Somebody who maybe has lost in the past and it found out, hey, it didn't break me, whatever, keep going. So now it's that much easier to probably say, hey, you know what? Let me do it. So you leave Dallas, you get to New York, and within 2 months, you establish a business that generates
almost $1 million.
Almost $1 million in the first
year.
12 months.
Yes.
That's amazing. So talk about the structure. How do you set something up in 2 months to generate gross revenue of almost $1 million?
Maybe
God
before
first.
she goes there. Maybe before you go, I know.
I thought she was gonna say God did.
God did. It was
Sure
God.
did.
Truly did.
I know earlier before when we were off camera, you were talking about the mourning period
Mhm.
from the transition from that corporate. Like, how did that play a part for you to kind of like say, you know what, I'm not gonna let this kind of bring me down, and be able to kind of like transgress and then say and then kind of get you on that path to get to that million? Like, what were the steps for you? Like,
So the funny thing is, I didn't experience the mourning period when I launched my business
That second time.
10 years ago, the second time
Right.
around. Because I was so busy building this business that I was working. So
Right.
to me, I was still an employee, not realizing I was a CEO, but I was still running my business. It's a mindset that needed to shift with me that wasn't happening. It didn't happen for a long time. So again, I was still going into this job, into my own business, collecting a paycheck, still not even seeing myself as a boss.
Right.
I had 14 employees.
So
I
you
had
were
a-
operating as an employee,
as an
state of
employee.
mind.
State of mind.
So
right.
in other words, you were pretty much sort of managing
I was
your
managing.
own business because
Exactly.
of, again, having the job
That's
security.
an interesting thing. We'll go back to that.
Yeah, because in my mind, I was still an employee. And so I think what I want to tell everyone, or the people that are interested in going from corporate or any industry that they're in into their own business, is that it happened for me. You go through this transition of a mourning period because you identify as an employee. You see yourself as a valuable employee. You see yourself as someone that is needed, relied on. You have this 9 to 5. Es la costumbre.
Yeah.
You know, we're stuck in that.
Yeah.
And so now things start to shift and you're like, whoa, I embrace change. But it was just sort of like smacking you in the face, like, this is very different now. And I went through that mourning stage where I was like, what have I done? Like, what? So even no matter how much money I was making, my mind was still saying, what are we doing?
Here are my tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What are we doing here? I didn't know how to delegate work.
Right.
I was doing
Yeah.
everything myself.
were
I
doing it
became
all
a
yourself.
hoarder of
Mhm.
information,
Okay.
which is something that you shouldn't do.
So your previous boss, right, kind of helped set you up, right? Gave you a year of salary, right? Which gave you that sense of security that a lot of folks need.
But
in order
quick
to
parenthesis,
start your-
did he tell you, hey, I got you for a year? Or was it more like it just kind of happened? Like,
It's
so
just-
so I want to know like
Yeah,
the
that's it,
mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because that's exactly what I wanted to get into. I wanted to get into the mindset, if you can, back then.
Right.
Right. So it's a conversation that was
Okay.
had, you
Okay.
know, and because I want to also be respectful of his privacy as well. It was a
I
conversation.
mean, we're in the street, so you're gonna have to say first
Yeah.
name, last name.
That is the name of the podcast.
Unfortunately, I can't do
All
it.
right, fine.
So it
Just
was
drop
a-
the last
No, that's
name.
good. That sounds good.
Definitely can't do that. So it was a conversation that was
Okay.
had and said, you know, I want you to succeed in life. I want
Okay.
to be able to help. And so in doing so, this is what I can offer.
Nice.
So you can go
Awesome.
venture off and do what you
Wow.
need to do.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
so there's a couple of other parts to this story.
Okay.
Okay, so now boom, a year goes by. I am in my business. It is running smoothly. My sister needs a job. My sister starts working for us. So now I take myself out of this managerial role, and my sister takes the role, she manages the space.
She's doing day to day.
Right. She's doing the day to day. We have
Okay.
14 employees. Everything's going smoothly. Everyone's making money.
You scaled to 14 employees in
Oh, we hired 14 employees after that. Like we
Oh,
were
right
just
away.
Oh, so you
that
came
insane.
on.
Wow.
Did
We
you?
were that. No, the best part is we were interviewing these people. I'm telling you, it's all. You say you're gonna do something, the universe and God
I
will
love it.
make it
Yes,
happen for
that's
you.
awesome.
Speak
Yeah.
I'll never forget our first week working there. I had one employee. My name is Stacy. I'll never forget her. She used to write down how much she used to get paid because we paid everyone by percentage,
like commission.
commission based, right? And so I went to give her paycheck and I said, I am so sorry. When I handed her paycheck, I said, I promise it's going to get better. She goes, don't worry about this. She goes, look, I'm writing down how much I got paid my first month. So she shows me her little notebook
Mhm.
and, you know, $53 the first. This is
Yeah.
how low it was.
Wow.
Well, by a year later, she and I are sitting down, we're having this conversation. She goes, I don't even think it was a year. It might have been already like 3 to under 6 months. She goes, remember that first page? Look where we are today, and the money she was making.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
We manifested that. Not to mention, we hired everyone a month prior to even opening. They waited for us to hire them.
Wow.
So it was
Did you know these people, or was just straight interview people?
straight interview.
Wow.
We put on Indeed, I think some hiring website. I don't even remember because it was 10 years
It
ago.
probably wasn't even
I-
Indeed yet.
It probably
I
was
asked-
Craigslist.
probably wasn't
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, I asked because
Yeah.
like
You got turned down from the job.
no.
I
many
remember
times.
interviewing.
But I remember, Corona was the hood back then. So
Yeah.
we've spoken about this. What do you do when you're going to start something? You put people on. Who do you put? You
Yeah.
put your people
People
on.
on.
And what's probably one of the biggest mistakes? Working with somebody who's your really good friend, but is not necessarily a really good business partner, right?
Yeah.
Or like really somebody that you should be working with. So
Absolutely.
you hired these people.
Hired
you didn't
these
know them.
people. Nope. So then we are now. So now my sister jumps on board. Now I want to help my sister out. So now she's jumps on board and she's the manager. So now I sit here. I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm like, okay, still collecting a paycheck, but this hustle mentality
Okay.
has not left my body
Good.
or my
Okay.
mind. So now I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I made X amount of dollars when I was working. I could possibly ask for more now, and I could do this and I could do that. Let me go back to corporate.
Wow.
With your fully functioning
Business. I go back to corporate. So that's what I'm saying. It's not always that easy
Mhm.
to just transition.
And it wasn't a
over.
financial thing.
It wasn't a financial
You were making
thing.
money. You were successful.
Mm,
But now you said, well, all right, let me turn this success into more money.
right.
Like, let me get a paycheck here.
Right. And it's
Okay.
because I wanted to live a specific lifestyle and I
Okay.
didn't want to have to change anything and I wanted more. And you have to define what your more is.
Mhm.
And so that is really important. Knowing what I didn't know back then what my more was.
Okay.
Is it a bigger house? Is it a better car? Is it more vacations? I didn't know then.
I was gonna ask you that, right? In terms of like, was there a specific reason or purpose as to why you wanted to just achieve more money? And when you just stated by not actually have an idea as to what your more definition was, do you feel that going back into corporate America kind of like regressed a little bit of your growth as an entrepreneur, and you
Okay.
might have limited more
Good.
Yeah,
opportunities?
because I was
on the
about
long
to
term?
ask that.
Okay.
And I
You weren't
think-
going to ask that.
I was going to ask
So
why.
how long
why
did you do that for?
Bro, listen, I want to sleep thinking
So
about
how
that
long did I
question.
do that for?
So how long did you? So you went back,
I did go back.
and how long did you do that for?
She's going to get into
until
that now,
August
Josh.
of this year.
And so,
Why?
'cause
10 years.
okay, so I wanted
Was
to
that the
make
same
sure.
boss that?
No.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to make sure because I know like prior to the show we talked a little bit about that. And I thought you said August of this year. And I'm like, wait, was this August of back then?
So it was August
So-
of this year.
So you kept running, you had your business on the side.
Mhm.
And okay, so now what happened like this past summer that made you say, like, okay,
Business
I'm done.
is still running,
I'm
right?
done
Business is still running.
and it's still going
Right.
driving.
And I still driving.
Okay.
And we have to also go back because I want to explain other
Okay, go
things.
ahead.
Because again, I think the reason why I came on to this podcast is because I want to really be able to dive deep into all the changes that an entrepreneur goes through.
Okay, good.
It's
Yeah.
not very
Yes.
easy.
Okay.
It's the most rewarding thing ever. And I know that I will never go back to corporate now.
Okay.
I didn't know then. And my more was, and I'm going to be as transparent and as real as I possibly can be.
Okay. We're in the street.
We're in the street.
Okay.
We're going to take,
And
we're
you- and
outside,
you're from
outside.
Queens.
We
outside.
So, growing up Latina,
Okay.
I worked in corporate America. And I was at one of my first biggest jobs was at Goldman Sachs.
Okay.
And not to knock Goldman, I love it. I learned so much there. I had an amazing boss there. But I was still Latina.
Mhm.
And I was reminded of that as often
You were
as
female
Yeah.
and a Latina.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
single mom,
Right.
divorced,
Okay.
so it was what I wanted to prove myself. Well, why? Why do I need
Nope.
to prove myself to you, to
Yeah.
anyone?
Mhm.
That was mistake number one. So that was one of the things that what I was really driven by,
Okay.
because you feel like this American dream is living like the people that I was working with that I looked nothing like.
Right.
Mhm.
No one was
Okay.
built like me there. No one spoke like me. No one had my accents.
Yeah.
You start changing You know, I can tell you, I have my white girl voice and I have my Latina voice.
Let's hear it. Go.
No,
Let me see the white girl.
Yeah, I want to hear the Dominican accent.
You know, and so you shift and imposter syndrome, all these things start coming up. And so that was my more. That's not my more.
But also I could see that, like, you telling the story, like that was your ability to adapt, like survive. It was like more like survival.
Yep.
You know, like I'm in this environment. You know, it's like you throw people in the wild, they become more less domesticated, right? Like now you gotta hunt your food.
But why should we become savages?
I agree.
Why should we be savages? Why should I have to hunt harder? You know, so now I see it as I'm not reaching for the American dream. I am acquiring and working hard for my Latina dream, my Hispanic dream, the dream my parents had for me, to be proud to be a Latina, not to hide my Latina-ness, my, very passionate hands,
Gestures,
the way I speak, the way I curse, the way I conduct my meetings. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And so now I feel like I want to be the CEO of my life, because now when we have meetings, I want to control. I want to be able to say what I want to say, do what I want to say, with all due respect to the people in front of me, because I have the utmost respect for everyone that presents ideas to me, that wants to collab with me, that needs my help. I'm very charitable, which we'll discuss either today or another segment.
We'll discuss.
I think Rob, that the last like 30 seconds was like the punchline. That's what we're gonna use for.
Yeah, we're gonna
This is how our show works.
Yeah.
Like our post and pre-production meetings
Oh,
happen
dude,
during the
yeah.
show. You know,
It's just
Like,
one
this
big-
just went left.
Yeah. It's like a sancocho. We just throw
Yeah,
everything in
throw
there.
it all in there.
I want to be the CEO of my
my
life.
life.
there's
That's
a couple. There's a couple
Yeah.
I heard in my head. I was like, all right,
Everybody's
title,
already thinking about the
title.
cuts.
But I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so now I go back to corporate. Now I'm like making demands.
So, I'm sorry. Hold on. So you don't consider yourself probably an entrepreneur when you decide to, hey, what am I going to do now? My sister's running my business. Let me go get a job.
Right.
So at that point, your mindset is not, I'm a CEO,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? Like you're still an
My
employee.
mindset is I'm an employee.
Right.
And I was proud of what I was doing because I was making shitload of money.
Okay.
You have your benefits, you have your bonuses, you're flying on a private plane, you have drivers, you have security, you have all this that goes along with working with these high net worth individuals.
Right.
Okay.
And I was very proud of being an assistant. People could call me a secretary all they want.
Executive
Call me
assistant.
whatever you want to call me. I'm still making more money than you.
Right.
And that's how I saw it, you know?
Okay.
So again, that money mindset, it's not the best mindset. So, okay, fast forward. Now I'm still working, making money, traveling, doing whatever the fuck I want to do.
Mhm.
Until I decided something's off. I'm feeling uncomfortable. This year I was, so I don't know if you
this is
guys want
10
to
years
discuss
of-
COVID. We
Yeah.
can go back to COVID also. So now 10 years of being in business and being in corporate, I was made to feel very uncomfortable this year. It wasn't my job. I don't know what it was. It was this feeling that something was off, and I knew that I needed to be doing something different. And I remember hearing one day while I was at church, I gave you this gift and you have done nothing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, did I just hear that? Like, who's in
Wait,
my
wow.
ear?
Can
Like,
I?
That's
Can I?
interesting.
I
That's
want to
like
ask you
premonition.
something.
There's like some.
Yeah,
She's about to
that-
drop a bomb, and you're gonna interrupt her. Right now.
Well, I, before she gets there,
Yeah,
right?
but you're taking the
'Cause I
momentum away
wanna-
from the bomb, bro.
No,
It doesn't have a long future.
She's got plenty of bombs on her back.
I definitely think she
I got
does.
plenty of bombs. That's the title right there.
There you go.
So,
You went back. Are you still in touch with the one that kind of set you up and gave you that opportunity?
propelled you?
The previous employer. Are you
We
still in
had
touch?
not really. No, I
No?
mean it's not
Okay.
not as much as I probably would want to.
Okay. So the
Right.
reason I asked that question is because I kind of want to like
Entremetido.
yeah for sure. But I guess I'm trying to understand like he's the one who gave you this opportunity. Then
she said she's not
He's
gonna give you the
growing.
name, bro.
No, I'm not asking.
He
for
probably
that.
wants to get like a.
But I'm trying to like I guess like I was hoping that you were still in touch with him, and throughout those entire 10 years, it's like, why are you still working for somebody else when this is what you should be doing,
And
thinking
that-
about expansions or whatever else?
Well, that's one of the reasons why you stay away from those people, because you don't want those questions asked when you are
Okay.
going through this money
Okay.
mentality.
Okay.
You don't want to be presented with those questions. I gave you this opportunity. I told you, I catapulted you forward. I
Right.
paid it forward. And this is how you repay
You still heard
me.
it in church anyway.
All right. Well, there you go.
If it's not, it
So you're in
wasn't-
church.
I'm in church and I'm like, I hear this loud and clear. I gave you this gift and you've done nothing with it. I was like, who's talking? I was like, oh my gosh. I kept on hearing it over
This is
and
post-COVID,
over.
pre-COVID?
This is post-COVID. This
Okay.
was this year. I
Okay.
can tell you what happened during COVID
Okay.
with my business. And so I said I was made to feel really uncomfortable. And when you're made to feel when God makes you uncomfortable, and I say God because it's my story,
Mm-hmm.
he makes you move.
Yeah.
And he's going to put you in a place where you can't even, it smells where you are. And you can't sit there any longer.
So the things you were able to tolerate before, and now they're
No
now
longer.
they're like,
Yeah.
oh no.
I was like, what? No, why am I doing this? Why am I answering these calls? Why am I? No.
All of a sudden, yeah. When
So it's
you're
not
being
like the
moved,
work
yeah.
environment changed.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
It's just how you
The money-
reacted
You start
to the
seeing things
environment.
differently now.
You start
Yeah.
seeing things differently.
Mhm.
And so I made this decision not to go back, not to stay in corporate, to now say, Jules, focus on your gift.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So now August comes around and I decide this is it. I'm doing this. This was a decision I made in July. Then August comes along and I'm like, okay, why am I feeling so depressed? Why am I so sad? Why don't I feel hopeless and feel like there's no purpose? And I knew that I wanted to grow my business. And I knew that there were certain steps that I had to take. But other people knew that I was not working in corporate anymore. So they were like, oh, can you help me with this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And there was like either money behind it or, I was avoiding all of the work I needed to do to grow my business for whatever that reason was. And I was helping others grow theirs. And it's been only a couple of months. It hasn't been that long. But in that couple of months, I remember hiring my business coach prior to this happening. And one of the reasons why I hired her was because I said, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't know why. And I need someone to kind of guide me into what I'm going through. And she said to me, one of her first questions, introduce yourself to me. Tell me who you are. And as soon as I started talking, I said, I'm so-and-so. I work for this company. And she was like, stop right there. You work for who?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I was working at the time. I work for this company. And she was like, so you introduce your boss's company before you introduce your own?
Wow. Yeah.
And I was just like, there was answer number one. Wow, I still have this employee mindset. She said, you need to shift from this employee mindset to the CEO mindset ASAP, or else you're going to go on a downward spiral. And sure enough, I kind of ignored her a little bit, went on that spiral and said,
How long ago did you get a business coach? Like, so you're still employed?
7 months ago.
Okay.
7 months ago. So,
So you're
it was
employed-
6 months pregnant. 6 months pregnant. 6 months program.
I'm supposed to be like-
No, that's not happening. 6 months program. And in that time, those little gems that she dropped on me, saying to
Okay.
me, like, introduce yourself. And how you is how people perceive you. I was never even introducing my business. If you ask me right now if I have a business card, never have one. How am I a CEO if I don't do those things? So what I want people to know today is shifting from the employee mindset to the CEO mindset is not an easy one, but it is the best one that you will make.
All right, time out.
I think
Time out. I'm going to put you on the spot. So, Jules, introduce yourself to us.
Okay. So I am Jules Mella. I am the CEO of not just one business, but multiple businesses
Okay.
today. I own 2 beauty studios, one in Midtown and one on Long Island. I also started an event planning company with 4 other individuals that are the most amazing women in the world. So we do corporate events, private events,
Okay.
personal events. I also sit on the board of 2 organizations. One is a women empowerment organization. It's called She Wins, We Win. And as the title speaks for itself, if one woman wins, all women will win.
That's awesome.
I also sit on a board for Real Estate Boss Empire, although I'm not in real estate. My best friend is, and she started this amazing organization that we host networking events throughout the year, which we tie to a charitable organization. So a percentage of our proceeds will go to a charity in need.
Nice.
I also do mission trips around the world where I help different organizations, churches, orphanages around the world. And in a nutshell, my philanthropic way of life and my passion is being philanthropic, is being charitable, because it was instilled in me from a very young age.
Awesome.
And so I no longer work for corporate America.
that was
Boom, Mike
that was
drop.
such a great introduction.
Yeah.
I work for myself.
definitely
Damn,
love it.
see, hearing your introduction made me
Yeah.
think, damn, I got a lot of fucking work to do.
We all have.
When they-
We all have.
When they asked me for my introduction, I'm like, it's Ray Dizzle.
It is not. You see it as dismal, but trust me that someone, a little boy is looking up at you and saying, like, I want to be just like him when I grow up. And so,
Yeah, he's got two of them.
yeah.
Yes.
Twins with that.
Exactly saying
So,
that.
so
yeah.
we got into that topic. So you said you were a single mom.
Single
So what do you have? You have multiple kids?
No, I have one
He
son.
wasn't here for that
Oh,
part.
you weren't here.
See,
Yes.
you were late.
So I
So,
have,
so wasn't the audience. The audience wasn't here for that either, right?
but now they know. You came in late with no drink. So
Take
I
care,
have
take
a 29-year-old son.
I wish we had like a
bartender, right?
Un
Yeah.
chamaquito demandado. Like en Dios, you'd be like, yo, bro, veme colmado allí. Jesus, I'm sorry.
the car wash.
For real.
She knows. She knows Santiago.
Para la plaza.
So you have a 29-year-old son.
I do. I have a
29-year-old son.
29-year-old son that I'm extremely proud of. His name is Keanu. Light
Like
of my
Keanu
life.
Reeves?
No, like Keanu Garcia.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
That is his name.
All right.
Yes, but very similar to Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves. And so, yes, he's my one and only. I'm very proud of him. He's an amazing child, and every
He's a man, 29 years old.
Yes.
You made
child. He's still
I'm
my
kidding.
baby.
Is he following the entrepreneurial steps as
that was-
his mom?
He's worked for
That's what
me.
we were going to.
Oh, he works for you.
He's worked for me.
Okay.
Because also, working with family is not always the easiest to
Okay.
do. So, we kind of took a little break, and I wanted him to also get the experience of working for someone else, because it's important for him to
Yeah.
know respect and, timing and
Discipline.
punctuality.
Right.
Yeah.
Punctuality,
I
what
definitely know
He knows
punctuality.
of it.
Yes.
He knows of it.
He knows of it. He doesn't
Yo,
adhere
Josh,
to it.
Yo, bro, you haven't been here. You haven't been here for a week.
It sounds familiar,
I'm not
right?
even gonna say why I was not punctual today, right? Because then I throw other people under the bus.
I don't even know
And
why.
we can't do that. We
And
shouldn't-
we should never do that.
We're not bus
Right,
drivers.
Jules?
No,
You shouldn't
we
do that.
never throw people
You never
under the
do that.
bus. although
You
do
never
say
do that.
So yeah, so I wanted him to also have that experience, because I think it is important to not just work for a family or a friend. I think it's important for him to have that that experience to work for corporate, because corporate was very good to me. And I could never say otherwise. You go through your ups and downs, but like in everything in life,
Mhm.
nothing's perfect. And so I can't sit here and say like, oh, I'm not going to throw the racist card around, because it could be thrown in any aspect of your
Right,
life. You
right.
go to
Absolutely.
certain
It could be anything though.
Yeah.
anything. Even in our own
It's a crutch.
yes, and even in our own culture,
Mhm.
there's racism
Right.
amongst our Hispanics.
Oh,
There is.
yeah.
And so to me, I don't throw that around, and I don't ever let it deter me from being who I am. Like, I don't really give a
So-
shit. If you're uncomfortable, you need to leave the room.
yeah.
not
It's
There
me.
you
funny
go.
you say that. Yeah, like it's like me. I didn't finish college, and I was very close to finishing. Everybody's like, finish, but I figured I'm better at this one thing, and I probably like it more. But then the wealth of experience that I learned in corporate America, right? Like working for different types of people,
Mhm.
right? That I'm
a
sure,
wealth of
like if that was
knowledge.
school, like you'd be
That's
getting
very
credits,
valuable,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
I remember working for Argelis at one point, and he was the worst boss. I said I never want to be.
He's
like
a strict manager, though. I'm
No,
not
I'm
gonna lie. to
kidding,
you.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Christ.
But the different, you learn a lot, right? So I think in today's day and age, right? Like we've had the conversation of college versus no college.
Yeah.
What should you push your kids to do, right? And it's an interesting debate. I think that you could validly argue for both sides of
Absolutely.
those things. But I think that more importantly is you could have somebody that goes to college and doesn't finish and finishes and is not as successful as somebody. My bad, bro. This is my tick because I got to make sure that he's looking at my mic. But also not as somebody that didn't go to college who's more successful, and it's just more like the mindset. It's like,
Yes.
what am I getting out of this experience today, right? Like I'm learning not to be late, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody called me out, even though she said not to, right? I'm kidding.
So what's next for you?
Well, we're not done with the story.
I'm
yet.
not saying because I had a question, but
And we're not done with
Look,
the.
this is it. I was
Fast
thinking about
forward
this as
button.
you actually, as you pretty much went over the story of being a single mom, going back and forth between the corporate and the entrepreneurial world. How was it being a single mom while being an entrepreneur? did you feel like you kind of needed that corporate security because you were a single mom?
That was another reason. That's one of
Okay.
another reason why I stayed in corporate. You have these amazing medical benefits. You have a small child, you worry about him as well, and making sure that he was always healthy. Going into your own personal, now I have my own plan, and it's so expensive, but
You can
need
pay it.
right?
You could afford it.
But now
right?
you can afford it, you can pay it, and you don't think twice about it. And so that's another reason why, working really hard and doing the work, not just chasing the paycheck, will eventually get you the paycheck to get the things, replace the things that corporate gave you.
Replace the things that corporate gives you as chains,
as an enticement.
as
Yeah.
chains
Yes.
to hold you down,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yes.
when they talk
Shackles.
about the
Yeah.
shackles, they talk about I remember I worked for a corporation and said, you have to paint. I think we were all sitting in this, you got to show the value of for somebody to take the lower salary. You got to show them the whole
The
picture. And I'm like,
picture.
what the fuck is the whole
Yeah.
picture, bro? People are here to make money. Well,
Yeah.
no. Well, you have
You have
you have
this.
a 3% match on a 401k. You
Mhm.
have this employee benefits, right?
Yes.
You have state of the art corporate offices.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do I care,
It
bro?
was a
I need an
cubicle.
iPhone. That's all I need.
So it's kind of like those are
Yeah.
things that we don't view them as way. And look, I'm not knocking the people that do view it
Right.
in that sense. Like it's not for everybody, but so that's great. So I want to know. So you leave August, you decide, hey, I'm out, right?
Mhm.
You resign from your position. You still have steady income because you have a successful business.
Right.
Did you have both beauty studios at that time?
No.
What? Okay, so August, you resign and you still have the one.
No, I've had two. So we're going to
Okay.
go backwards.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
let's
going
go
to go
backwards.
rewind.
Okay.
So during COVID, we didn't, of course, everyone's shut down. We don't know when we're going to reopen. And now, I had already downsized. A lot of people started to leave. And so now we went from 14 people. We were focused on lashes. So we do eyelash extensions, microblading. And so it became a bit of an oversaturated business because people were realizing, wow, there's money to be made here.
Right.
Mhm.
So now there's other business being built. We have more competition. So of course you start making less money, but you're still making
A
money.
lot of your probably employees go and do their own thing,
which I was
right?
very proud of. And I also was, I was for it. Yeah, I don't want you stuck.
Right.
I wanted to pay it forward.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to say, Jules, I'm going to go on my own. I'm doing my own thing. I opened up a little studio, a little room, and I'm so proud of you. Anything you need, and if it doesn't work out, you can always come
right.
At
back
that
here.
point, you
awesome.
never thought about the possibility of franchising it, taking one of the key employees and say, all right, you're going to become, X.
Don't be giving
percentage.
Jules free advice, bro. We need commission.
Leave
I'm
it in the
kidding.
street.
I'm kidding.
I've also thought of franchising, and people had approached me on it as well. And it's something that was in the back of my mind also always. But again, COVID did a number on all of us.
Right.
And it was such a huge effect on every industry. But the beauty, and because of the beauty, now people were saying, you know what, I'm going to go see this client at home.
Mhm.
Now it was
Pretty
easy
cool,
to
yeah.
just go see that client at
I
home.
still want
right?
my barber to
Yeah.
come to my house.
Right. I have my hairdresser come to my
Yeah.
house, people do, all of my makeup artists come, all of that. So it became very easy for my girls to start venturing out and doing these
Yeah.
things.
Doing
And the
their own
ones that
thing.
stayed behind were very loyal and decided to stay. Not that the other ones weren't loyal, they were doing their thing.
Right.
And I don't blame them.
Mhm.
If I would have had private clients, I may have done the same
Yeah.
thing. Well, again, I don't knock anyone's hustle because I also had that hustle mentality. So now we're in this space. It's huge. We're in Midtown, and my rent is astronomical.
What's astronomical? Say it. You in the street.
It's
Probably like
Jules,
20
we're in
20
the-
grand?
No, it was about 15.
Wow.
15 grand.
But again, you're not making any money. $0 for
Yeah,
months,
you shut
right?
down.
So 15,000. Even though these landlords are like, you don't have to pay now. You can just pay later. We'll just
Oh,
tack it on
yeah.
later.
Yeah,
It's not like they eliminated,
Yeah.
right?
No,
It's like,
no,
yeah,
they don't
just- we're just
eliminate
shelving
anything.
it.
No, they weren't. We'll help. We'll cut it down to. But when things open up again, we're going back to that
Right.
number. And I said, well, what about if we open up again and I don't have the number of people? I don't have these clients anymore. I can't do this. And I said, no, I'm taking a step back. Before I did that, I said, I'm gonna look around and see. Another little tidbit I learned from one of my old bosses at Goldman. When September 11th happened, everyone left the city,
Mhm.
abandoned New York City. The smart ones said, New York City will never
We'll never die.
We will come back stronger than ever. Sure enough, he went and invested on 5 apartments or four apartments at the time.
There's blood in
on
the
a
water.
top floor.
The sharks, baby.
And because he said to me, and I said, wow, like, are you really going to do this? And he was like, absolutely, because we're going to come back. Now he has a huge penthouse on the top floor of a building that you can't even touch.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't have, you're not in that, that's
That
if you don't
bracket.
have that type of money, exactly, that tax bracket.
Mhm.
And so I said to myself, we're going to come back. We're going to come back because we always come back. So let me find a smaller space because I have less people now at a cheaper price because
In the
now
same hot
landlords
Midtown
are
area.
just as desperate as
Yeah.
we are.
Yes.
So I got out of one lease. I found another spot a block away. Super cute. I negotiated my build out. They did my build out. I got
Nice.
3 or 4 months rent free. I moved my place over. I went from almost $15,000 to $4,500.
Wow.
A block away.
Boss
Yeah.
move right
The
there.
Nice.
same time,
boss
I
move
saw.
right
I
there.
thought to myself,
price.
okay, if I can find this in New York City, I've always wanted to open in Long Island because I live on Long Island. So let me see if that works on Long Island. So I went to Long Island and I found somebody that I was working with.
What
and
town in Long Island is the business?
in Woodbury.
Woodbury. Okay.
So somebody that was renting, I also am a little bit of a landlord, so I rent space within my space. So a nurse that I was renting space to, she said to me, I would love to open up something on Long Island. Do you want to become co-tenants? This way, it'll be cheaper for us.
Mhm.
We'll rent a big space. You get a couple of rooms, I get a
Good
couple of
area,
rooms,
yeah,
and we'll do this. Sure enough, we go to Long Island and we find a space that was really nice space. They were going to help with the build out. A couple of months free. It was $5,000 a month. Now we're splitting this, so it's $2,500. So now I have 2 spaces for less than
Right.
one place.
Yeah.
So you have to take advantage of when we are going through a recession and take those risks.
Absolutely.
We bounce back. It's what we do. We are never,
Mhm.
especially Latinos, we're
That-
never just going to stay.
But that's a great. That's something we should kind of pause on because
The bounce back?
but I think as Latinos,
Mhm.
right, we're taught to be so careful, like
Of spending,
And-
and
especially
of spending,
in bad times.
and in
Yeah.
bad times you hold back, like
no se puede gastar.
we've been in
Yeah.
a lot of situations like we're expanding our businesses. I know I've had the conversations where my parents say, "Are you crazy? What are you thinking?
It's
You're
funny
gonna
you
quit
say
your
that.
job? What the fuck are you doing?
It's funny
During
you
the
kids on the
pandemic.
way.
You got 2 kids on the way.
my mom was always that person, be very careful and, you have this and you shouldn't, rattle the cage and don't get anyone upset. And I remember when I said, I think I'm going to do this. And I was waiting for her to say, we're never slash. And she was like, mija, do it. Hágalo.
You have proven yourself. though.
And that was, and I don't know if you guys are
A
the
blessing.
same way. As soon as my mother
Oh,
said
no.
that, it gave
was
me
like the
wings.
reassurance.
you said
Yeah.
game on.
That was a
Yeah.
Red Bull on you.
My
Yes,
mother,
it gave you wings. Don't be sponsoring people that don't pay.
Yo, for real, Red Bull. You already know.
My mother was that literally the winds beneath my wings and to like
That's
she
fire.
once I had her back because my mom's always been that person that whatever she approves, it's like your mother's seal of approval is golden.
Yeah.
It's
To me,
crazy
it's
how
like-
you have that, like that
Yeah.
igniter. It's like no matter how much you have it in your head, like I'm gonna do this. But then when you have somebody say, go
Yeah,
for
like
it.
either your
Oh,
parent or
hell,
somebody
it's
you
that-
care.
that person,
It's
that-
like,
let's
yeah.
go.
That
Let's
But
person
it's
go.
in
a
your life,
person
they
you
kinda-
always
yeah.
want to make you proud. And I
Yeah,
always
exactly.
wanted her to be proud of
Good.
me.
Right.
And I was always, again, the black sheep. I was always in trouble in school. Too
Have
many
you
women.
ever given your mom a very respectful FU? Like, yo, you saw? Like,
yeah.
yo, you know? Like, yo, like ask about me. You know what I mean?
Well, now she tells me like, yeah, I don't ever really do that because I did that. And
This guy
at
does.
30 something, I still got
No, I
like,
don't.
but now I definitely like, I think I don't have, now she says like, I'm so proud that you
Right.
took all these chances, that you went against the grain.
Right.
When everybody was doing certain things, and even like some of my cousins have said to me, I suffered, I endured this and this and this because I was so unhappy just to make my parents happy. And I was like, I can't do that. And I remember when I was younger, my mom had remarried And I was having issues with my stepdad, which is the most amazing father in the whole world right now,
Okay.
and always has been. I was a rebellious child. And I said to her, you better leave him. Like, I'm your daughter. And she was like, no, you're going to grow up and get married and leave me. Then I'm going to be by myself. He's a good person. You're just being rebellious. You want to get your own way. And that's not going to happen.
I think your
So-
mom was you back in the day, right? She was probably like, no,
That's where it
I'm
comes
doing
from.
this.
I'm going to do what I need to do for myself, and you should do the same. And so I think she realized that she instilled that in me, and that made her proud. But she didn't recognize that right away because,
Of course.
you know, rebellion is not something that you want to recognize in your child
Mm-hmm.
and say, oh, you know, I was the same way. I don't know if it's rebellion or just pretty much standing up for yourself. And
Okay.
I'm a firm believer in my gut feeling has never, ever been wrong. Never. And I say it's gut feeling, it's God, it's, you know,
Right.
and it's what
It's a mixture of everything. I mean, also, I'm a little more curious about the philanthropic job that you do for the most part because
It's not a
wait a
job.
minute, always fresh.
Oh, he's fresh original.
Yeah, original, baby. So some of the jobs that you basically mentioned to me is about you traveling to this different countries,
Mhm.
right? Can you just speak a little bit on that?
Yes. So when I was younger, much younger, I think my parents would send us away. My mom was married prior and had my brother and I, and then she remarried and had my sister with my stepdad. So we would always go to my paternal grandparents' house in Dominican Republic. And every summer we were there for 2 months. And the first month, I remember my grandmother used to take me to every campo imaginable. I can't even tell you the names of it because I was too young. And I remember I could only bring like 2 outfits with me, and day and night, wherever we would go to these houses, she was writing stuff down in a notebook and having conversations. And, you know, as children, you couldn't be in adult conversations. So I was always outside. I had a million friends, and the whole summer I was making new friends, and it was the most amazing experience. But I didn't know what my grandmother was doing, but it wasn't any of my business. And so I remember every summer we would do this for a full month, and I would sleep on sacks of rice with different friends around, and I would take a bath in una rigola. I knew how to pee in an outhouse at whatever time of the day it was. You know, we were running around little kids naked in our underwear, and I learned how to wash my own clothes because we only had 2 outfits, and I had to wash my clothes wherever I was with my grandmother. Mind you, we lived in the city. My grandmother was a very well-connected woman. So I didn't understand what this hardship was for a whole month. Then the second month we would have fun, and we would go to the water parks, and I would now be with my city friends.
That's
Nice clothes
awesome.
and all this other stuff. But again, I still didn't know what I was doing for a whole month, kind of like struggling, but having fun, you know,
Right.
because you are all, you know, anyone that was raised in DR had that campo, like the fun that we had there was, you know, we can talk about it for hours. And so as I got older, I said to her and I said, why do we go here? Why do we always come here? What are we doing here? So what she was doing is she was getting their cédula because they were entitled. And I don't know the exact answer right now because I remember I was so much younger. And she would go and be able to get money for these people that were deserving of the money that was estaban cosechando on their lands. And so they were entitled to this money. But she was wise enough to say, they're entitled to this money. And because she was heavy into politics, you know, my great-great-grandfather is Ramon Mella, one of the founding fathers of my country.
I was gonna ask where the Mella from, but then you said Mela, and then I said, all right.
Sorry, that
I'm
was
gonna
my
say
white girl voice.
Yeah,
Very
right?
white girl
I was like,
voice.
Mela is a really
big
you know,
name in the
Yes.
So your great or
grandfather Ramon Mella is my is one of the founding fathers of our country. I'm very proud of that. And so she was very well connected, and so she knew that they were entitled to this. So that charitable heart I inherited from her. And my mother was also the woman that we lived in Corona, and my parents both had really great jobs. My mom came to this country at a very young age, educated herself. She taught us English. Our first language is Spanish. She made sure of that. All of my siblings speak Spanish. And so growing up, I remember I would call my mom, like, my friend's hungry. Like, is there still food? All the pots would be clean. And she was like, of course there's food. And there would be a spread. No matter how many people walked to the door, we would call them the magic pots because there was always food in this house. And if anyone ever needed anything, you know, they had it. I remember one of my friends asking me once as an adult, when did you realize you were poor? I said, I was never poor.
Right.
And she said, well, you know, your lights were never cut out. You never went to bed hungry. And I said, no, my parents really took advantage of all the opportunities in this country because there's so many. And my mom took class after class after class. And, she now retired from a really great company, well respected. And my dad is still working. He's 75 years old. They won't let him retire, and so he loves what he's doing.
They still in Corona?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're not far from it. They're still in Queens, but they still go back and to buy their plátanos like 3 for $1.
The barber,
No? Yeah, although you still go back to Jardín de China.
Right. Cash only, baby.
Yes, love it. He's a millionaire right now. And so I got this charitable heart from my mother, but mostly from my grandmother, because the fact that she sacrificed her, my happiness and I still had a lot of fun, but so many things could have happened to me on these trips. I remember coming home with these horrible infections because the mosquitoes were killing me. I had scars for months, but because of that, as I got older, I started to raise money and started to donate money to different organizations. And I have no hair on my tongue. I'm quick to say, we're all here at this strip club. Everybody got $100 to give that lady. You're going to give me $100 for kids that are in need. And I was just that person. You're going to give me $20. I need this. I need this. And they knew where it was going. It wasn't for me. They knew where I was going to do with it. My last mission trip was to Africa. And for 10 days, we served 402 kids. And when I say we served That's 402 awesome. Kids, it's because those days were just for them, for us to serve, God's mission is to pay it forward.
So how do you, all right. So, I mean, that's very interesting. So you go to Africa for 10 days. Mm-hmm. Where are you part of an organization? Yes. What charity did you go with?
So when I went to Africa, I went with my church, which is Saints Church, and they're on Myrtle Avenue in Queens. And they put these trips together every year. And so we serve these missions throughout the year, different countries. But now we've also done it on our own. So like my friends and I will do something on our own. We'll go on vacation. We'll find a charity. And so you donate. Like I went to Cuba and we served an organization for a couple of days and then you vacation for a couple of days. So it's you give and you take. Right. And so you're able to give to others and then take an amazing vacation. It's not like you're taking from others. I think people have this misconception of this give and take kind of thing. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful mindset, man. Just because I think that, for us, like we travel a lot, but I think that when you're in a business trip, like the last thing that you're actually thinking about is let me give back, right? Mm-hmm. You're kind of like, all right, let me just come up with this strategies, these ideas that we can go and implement and start executing, right? So I think that is something that we could definitely take away from it.
I think giving back is always like something not only like self-satisfying, but it's like, coming from, the backgrounds we come from, like you said, we've lived that where we were in DR and like, you have your cousins and, they're looking at your sneakers a certain way.
Yo, why? How? Right.
And why? If, you're a little kid, like, why you don't have them?
I mean, I know a couple bars that we give in a lot to also when we go on trips.
Yeah, you know what? But I do like that. The next time that we go out, to like, listen, I'm gonna give you this, but you're gonna have to match that percentage.
Right, exactly. So and you should never feel guilty. Never be made to feel guilty. Again, if that you're not giving back, but I think that we are all entitled to give ourselves gifts as well. Donate to yourself, give charity to yourself, be good to yourself because we're deserving of it. We work really hard. But I think that paying it forward, I come from a mentality of I don't have to take care of myself because God is taking care of me. As long as I'm doing for others, He's going to do for me. Amen. Not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone has to think that way. And it's okay if they don't.
Right.
I just feel like whatever you have faith in, believe in it wholeheartedly because that is what's going to help you and drive you forward.
Beautiful. Absolutely. All right, so Rob is going to kill us real quick. So final questions and then we'll do a little speed round. So final questions. Yes, and advice. Rob wants some advice.
First things first, I would say
so final question or comment.
All right, so what's the best advice you can give your younger self?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. How long do you think for that one?
Well, I wanted to ask what's next, but I wasn't able to do that.
You did ask what's next.
But she never was able to answer.
Okay.
Anyway, younger self.
Younger self, the best advice, trust yourself more.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You want to ask Josh's question for him?
No. I'll leave that to Josh. Josh wrote that on his way over.
No.
His professional.
What do you got?
Part of being an entrepreneur is kind of like going head on with like the tough times. Like what was something that you had like that? It was a tough moment for you, but that you said, that you were able to overcome in terms of, maybe you didn't have the answer then, but just because of your expertise that you was able to overcome.
I've always been very curious. So there's nothing I won't find out. I may not know the answer at the moment, but I think one of the things that kept me driven and didn't allow even like COVID to shut me down is because I was thinking about my employees. I didn't just think about myself, and it always goes back to, that giving back mentality that I think about others also, putting them first, because I didn't want them to be without, because I couldn't imagine just shutting the doors on them.
JJ, what you got, Bobby?
Let Robert go.
Yo, Rob, you want a question, Rob?
A question, Rob.
No, I just listen to the
He's just listening.
He's taking notes over there.
Jay, you got
Pen is
something?
on fire.
Oh, you good?
How do people reach you?
Yeah.
Oh, but that's the really last one.
Wow,
bro.
Jay.
I just keep it
Let's go rapid fire. Let's do something fun. All right, Jules. All right, what do you do for fun?
I love to travel.
Okay.
I love my friends. We love to party. Shop, of course.
Okay.
But I think it's just being surrounded by people. I'm very comfortable alone. I am a bit of a loner when it comes to like even working, but I love being surrounded by people. I know people feel, you're going to be interviewed by 4 guys, and I'm like, I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Spanish music or English music?
Spanish.
What
Bachata
kind?
merengue.
Okay, so in order of importance, salsa, típico.
Ooh,
Wow.
Actually, maybe típico. Típico first,
Okay.
salsa, merengue, then bachata.
All right, favorite food?
Spanish.
Beach? Spanish, like you have Puerto Rican, Colombian,
no,
Cuban.
Dominican.
All right, like your rice and beans.
Rice and beans. I can
Okay.
eat rice and beans every day of my life. Every day of my life.
Si no comiste arroz, you didn't eat.
Yeah, like that's like my dad. Yeah, I'm like,
All right, pool versus beach.
Pool.
The
I'm
sand? Is it
bougie.
the sand? Oh, yeah.
Very bougie. I want to be served.
Okay.
I want to be clean.
All right.
Yes.
Drink of choice, so we know for next time.
Ooh. Right now, it's gin and tonic.
Ooh.
Okay.
Gin
What,
and tonic?
Beefeater?
Hendrix, please.
Okay. Oh,
Hendrix.
excuse
That's
me.
very European.
All right, Hendrix. All right.
Love it.
But I do
Yes.
love champagne as well.
Okay.
Give me away for champagne, please.
Oh, yeah.
I get bubbly.
I like the bubbly.
All right, so next time we'll have some Hendrix, soda, some lime, or just
Seltzer.
seltzer, and no
Yeah.
lime? No,
Lime,
just-
yes, definitely
All right,
lime.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
Bro.
your whack ass question, Jay. Where can we contact
This is the
you?
most important question here.
Yeah,
How
you
do
guys-
our audience
somebody-
reach?
You've been wanting to ask me, so what's next?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I want you
What
to
is next?
I
like
left it
be able
to
to
him,
share that
man.
opportunity about like what's next, and then of course how they can contact you.
Right.
And actually plug where your businesses are.
Yeah, what's
'Cause
the
we
name
know
of
that
your
they're in
business,
Midtown,
right? I
wanna promote
right?
them.
So where they can
Okay,
find you.
so
I don't know how many women we have.
And by the way,
listening to
if
you,
you drop
but I do
Industreet
clean
Talk-
my
Yeah.
eyebrows, you know. So,
And if you drop Industry Talk, you get a 5% discount.
oh, where?
Just kidding.
I will. Definitely. You guys need to send me a little
He's like,
skit so
where?
I can plug you guys. I don't have a ton of followers, but definitely have lots of friends.
All right,
They'll
so
charge a
so what's
surcharge of
next?
5%,
And
and
what's
we get
next?
it.
And where can we find you and your
Okay, so
businesses?
the easy part, where to find me on Instagram is I am Jules, JEIM, JEWELZZ.
Okay.
Facebook, Jules Mella, Meja. Sorry.
I was about to throw in my little joke there, aka
I'm
Meja.
sorry, it's Meja. Let's see what else. What's next? Oh, my business in Manhattan is She Winks,
Okay.
and we're located on 44th between 5th and 6th.
Oh, wow.
And we do
That's Midtown.
What-
Wow. That's not like the Midtown.
And I'm super
that you
proud.
and I will say like, yeah, I'm in Midtown. Where are you, bro?
No, I'm on
100.
44th between 5th and 6th. And
Okay.
we've been there almost 10 years. And I'm very proud that a Latina is in business in Manhattan for so
Awesome.
long.
That's amazing.
That these are
awesome.
yeah. Come on, man.
Well, Rob,
And survived
cue that one for the
COVID.
plug.
Okay.
And my second business is also She Winks, but I've also partnered now with Injex Med Spa. We're both together. So it's
Okay.
now really considered Injex Med Spa, INJX, and we're in Woodbury. There we're doing Botox fillers, hydrofacials,
Okay.
Morpheus 8, corporal massages, after surgery massages, teeth whitening, hair laser removal. So
Okay.
please come visit us there as well.
Damn, no hair
Yeah.
plugs.
We need hair. We
We're
don't need
gonna
hair
charge you
removal.
for that.
We need to
We're
put some
gonna
back.
charge you for that.
Yo, she
We
said-
need to put some back.
Yo, she said hair. I'm like,
He wants you to take the bear off his back.
But yeah,
and
we
put
do
it on
go to
his head.
turkey for that. We go to turkey for
Go
that.
to turkey. Plug turkey right now. Yes, and my event planning company is called the Luxury Affair Group.
Okay.
We're also on Instagram under that name.
Okay.
Some of the charities, organizations I work for. I'm the creative director of She Wins, We Win. And the charity that we also work for, and I'm also sit on that board, is Real Estate Boss Empire. Another organization that does amazing
Beautiful.
things.
All right. So what's next for Jules
What's next?
Meja, aka
For
Mela?
Jules Meja, so much. And I say so much is because I'm manifesting all of that.
Awesome.
So for me, what's next is opening up multiple businesses. What kind of businesses? I don't know yet. But definitely, that's
We got a couple
definitely.
pitches, by the way, at the
Yeah.
end. I'm
We-
kidding.
Okay, great. So yeah, I'm definitely open
Couple of
to
plugs.
collaborating with others. I am. I think I'm pretty business savvy. Again, I've learned from one of the brightest minds on Wall Street and the wealthiest, and so
Okay.
definitely have good tidbits. Am a hard worker, and so I see a bigger house, more travel, more philanthropic work. That's pretty much that definitely is top on my list, and definitely multiple. Even more business.
So would you say that on your bar right now, you're probably what, at a 50%?
Ooh,
We
that's
stopped.
the question.
Yeah, we
We
stopped
stopped
asking
using
that.
that
We stopped
question,
asking that.
If
right?
I'm at a 50%, yes, because
So if
this
you
is-
were like a video game that's loading,
Mhm.
right? Where would your percentage be?
I want to say 50%, and I'll tell you why. Because my second half is going to be my best half.
Love it. Love it.
I
love
think
it,
we
love
ended
it.
there, bro.
That's
This
it.
in the street.
That's
Which
it.
one's my camera, Rob?
Yeah.
It's a wrap, baby.
We got too many cameras.